Hey guys, Trap21 here again with a script and tutorial. First off, I want to apologize for taking so long to get this video out. It's been like 3 or 4 weeks, I think. I apologize for that. I've just been really busy working on my game with new updates and stuff, and school has been keeping me kind of busy too, and just getting ready for sports and stuff. So I apologize for all that. But now I'm back and I'm gonna teach you guys some stuff. So today, what I'm going to teach you guys are decals, sounds, and then a little introduction to GUIs. So go ahead and open up Roblox Studio, and then open up a base plate. First, I'm going to talk to you guys about decals. So a decal it's basically just a picture, but it's not something you usually see on your two-dimensional screen, I guess you could say. You put it on like a 3D object, like this part right here. So go ahead and create a part. And then let's kind of square it so it's like the same size. Let's do 8, 1, 8. That's good. Okay. So to get a decal, what you do is you go to the toolbox tab, and then up here it should say models. You want to click on that, and then make it go to decals. So once you get into the decals page, you're gonna want to search for an image that you want. There's some like already. These are decals that have already been. That are like these are decals that are the most popular, that are chosen the most to be put in games, put in people's places and stuff. So I'm just gonna take something from here. Let's take the. I got it was cool. So we'll take the free Robloxian thingy. So what you do is just click on it, and then you drag it onto the part that you want and which service you want. So right now, since I'm on the top service, it'll be put on there. But if I move it to the side right here, it'll be put right there, and it automatically resizes it to fit the part too. So that's pretty nice. So we're gonna put it on this small part right here, and once you have it the way you want it, you just click, and then it's set. See, now it is on the part. And also, there's a decal instance is created inside of the part. So if you click on the little arrow there, thing named decals there. If you click on it, there are some properties here. There's the name. You can make that whatever you want. The face, which is what side of the part it's on. So right now it's on the top. If I wanted it on the bottom, I'd click on that. And the orange thing, it goes around the bottom of it. Here. I'll flip over the part so you can see. See? It's on the bottom of it now. It could be the front, left, right, top, back, all that. And then there's transparency, which is how see through the picture is. So right now it's the normal transparency. If we do 0.5, you'll be able to see through it partly. Uh-oh. I accidentally clicked F12. That records video. Oh, I'm sorry for that. Alright. So 0.5 would be part way see-through. See, you can see through it a little bit. 1 would be completely see-through, which means you can't see it at all. 0 is the default. The texture, that's the picture ID, pretty much. It's basically the address of where the decal is. Here's a little note to self here. In order for a decal to be put on Roblox, you have to publish it to the Roblox website, and it has to be approved by Roblox's moderators. And so once you get that approved, and then you can put it over here in the texture thing. I'm going to show you how to make your own decal, like right now. So what you do, you go into your browser of your choice. It shouldn't matter which one it is. Anyone will do it, I think. Let's say like some really bad browser or something. Alright, so I'm going to use Google for this.
Hello, Sharp.
I'm going to go to roblox.com/develop. Okay, so when you get there, it should show all of your places by default. I have a lot of stuff. Things from way back when I first started scripting, and I was really horrible at it. So what we want to go to is, right now it's at places. We want to go down to decals. Wait for it to load. Okay, so after it loads, under here where it says decals, it should show all of the other decals that you have recently uploaded. These are the ones that I've uploaded for my game when I was working on it by myself. Not anymore. So to upload one, oh, also that little X sign thingy there. I'll zoom in on it. See that little sign right there? That means that that the picture was declined by the moderators. It means you can't use it. You would still be able to see it if you put it in the game, but users that would play your game would not be able to see it. So to upload the image that you want, you go to this choose file button right here. And then you'd find, a picture that you want to upload to Roblox. And then you click on it, and then you click on open. And then you would type in the name of it, the name of the decal you wanted, and just click upload, and it should show up here. It might take a little while, it may take a couple minutes or even a day or so for the moderators to approve it, but don't worry about it. It'll get viewed eventually. And so then to get the link to your decal, you go back into Studio, go to Toolbox again, all up where it says decals, click on that, and you go to My Decals. Oh, in My Decals, it'll show all the decals that you have uploaded. So then you would click on the decal that you wanted. So we'll just get this barracks right here. You click on the decal that you wanted, and then bring it in. Let's put it right there. And then in texture, you just copy and then paste it wherever you want, wherever else you're putting it. So that is how you do. That's how you do decals. So now we're going to move on to sounds. Okay, so I'm sure you guys all know what sounds are. It's pretty self-explanatory. Things you hear, obviously. If you don't know what that is, I think you might have problems or something. I don't know. So, to get a sound, what you do is you go to Advanced Objects, and you type in sound. It should show up right here. Double-click on it, and then put it in there. So here, there are some properties in here that you should know about. So we'll start from the top and work our way down. So there's your class name, sound, is paused and is playing. This is something that you cannot set manually. You have to use a script to do this. Actually, I don't think these ones are actually editable with a script. This is more like these will only be changed when the sound is playing or not. So it's basically only read only, which means you can only see what it is. You can't write a value to it in any way. So, is paused means the sound is not playing. Is playing means the sound is playing. I think you guys get it. The name, every object has it. The name of this object here. The pitch is how high the sound is. So if you set this to a higher or lower thing, you just see it. You should hear it a little differently than normally would. Like if I would just set my voice right now to a high pitch, you probably hear about hi like that. Or if you set it down to a lower pitch, you'd be like hello like that. Hello, this is my pitch. Like that. That's kind of what the pitch is doing. So, the sound ID is pretty much the same thing as the texture ID for the decals, except we're referring to a sound instead of a decal here. If you do anything other than a sound, you'll get an error and the sound will not play. Time length, that's how long the sound is. Time position, I'm not sure what that is. I should probably look it up on the wiki sometime. But I don't really need to use it. The volume, self-explanatory, how loud the sound is. And there's looped. If you check this box, then the sound will keep playing over and over again until you tell the sound to stop or the sound is destroyed. Play on remove. That if you check this box, then that means the sound will play when the sound is destroyed, like the sound instance. So to get a sound ID, you need to go to back to the browser. You need to go to the Develop tab again. Then go to Library. And then these things should show up. These are models and stuff and plugins, I think, or scripts and stuff. What you want to do is you want to go down to Audio. Click on that. And it should show a bunch of popular audio clips that have been uploaded. These are sorted by popularity. So, you can look for a sound that you want. Let's say we want an explosion sound. So we'll type in explosion in the text box. Click on search. Might take you just a couple seconds. Okay, so it showed up. Oh, by the way, all sounds are free on Roblox. You can't put the cost on them, so every single sound in here will be free, unless of course they deleted it and then you wouldn't be able to access it. So if you hover over it, it'll show some information about it, like the explosion, the cost, which is always free, the creator, when it's updated, how many sales it has, and how many favorites it has. So you want to click on it. If you want the sound for easy reference later, you could just click on take one, and then it'll be in your inventory. If you want to hear what the sound sounds like, you gotta hear this little play button right there, and then you click on it, and then it'll play the sound. Now here's how you get the sound into your game. What you do is up here in the the text box where you search in stuff for in your browser. Up here you'll see the link to the web page you're already at. So to show you anything, www.roblox.com. So over here where it says like item ID, you want to get this part with all the numbers. So when you highlight it, right click on it, and then copy or cut, whichever one you want to do. And then you go back into the studio. Go to sound ID. Then you want to type in these. You want to type in this HTTP. Oops. And then :2/ www.roblox.com/asset/ID ? Equals, and then you copy in that number that you typed in and press enter. Wait. Sound failed to load? Maybe it's assets? No. Hold on guys, I'll be right back after I figure this out. Okay guys, I figured it out. I typed in the sound ID wrong. Sorry about that. I was still kind of in decal mode. So what you do, you go down here and then you type in rbx asset ID and the : 2/, and then you paste in all those numbers that you copied in that URL for the thing. Press enter, and then if it worked down here, this should not show up. The time length should show up right here. It tells you how long it is. That should turn to something. And so now we're gonna move on to how to play the sound. So what you do, you gotta go to the script. You gotta insert a script into it. It doesn't have to be inside of that. It could be somewhere else. But what you do is you do script.parent : and then play. So just like that. So we'll click on the play thingy and we'll hear it. Alright, so as you might have heard, I'm not sure if you heard it from the speakers, but the sound did play. You can try it on your thing if you want. But the sound played. So that makes the sound play. If for some reason you wanted to stop the sound, all you would do is do script.parent stop. It's very easy to play and stop sounds. So let's do wait in there so you can kind of hear it. Let's do 0.1. Wait, how long does it sound? Okay, you might be able to hear a difference. Let's try that. Alright, so as you might be able to hear, the sound kind of cut off before it finished. That's because I used the stop command, which will stop the sound. So that's pretty much all you need to know about sounds. There's also soundscape. It has to do with how you hear, how the Roblox will play your sounds. We'll go into that later in a later tutorial. But right now we're just going to do the basics which I just showed you. So now we're going to go on to player GUI. So what a GUI is, it is something on your screen, two-dimensional. It's not in the place where your character interacts with, but it's on your screen, something that only you can see. An example of a GUI would be maybe a shop or something. Like if you ever played the game Apocalypse Rising, when you're customizing your character and stuff, the place where all the sliders are, and the thing shows how many credits you have. That they use GUIs to make that. So that's what a GUI is. So to create a GUI, the one that you can show up on your screen, you want to get this thing called a screen GUI. So go into Advanced Objects, and then type in GUI. And these three things should show up. These are the three different types of GUIs that there are in Roblox. There's Billboard GUI, Service GUI, and Screen GUI and Surface GUI. So Surface GUI, or GUI, is what I actually sometimes call it, just for fun. It is kind of like a decal. You put it on parts. Where'd it go? What? Oh, whoops. It's kind of like a decal, except a little more customizable. You put it in parts, and then you can do other stuff to customize how the thing will look on there. I'm not going to go into that yet. I'll go into a later tutorial. I'm going to do a screen GUI, or GUI, which is the simplest one, at least in my opinion, to learn first. So where you can learn the basics. So if you want everyone to have this GUI that you made, you put it in the starter GUI right here. So we're going to double click on the screen GUI, and then there should be some properties here. The only one you can edit is the name, so we don't need to worry about that. So we're going to go into frames. So a frame is like a box that you can put other things in. They can be used for backgrounds and stuff. So you double click to put it in, and you should see this white box appear up in your top left corner. And it should be inside the screen GUI, or else it won't work. So there are a bunch of properties in here you can edit. There is active, which is basically the user can interact with it. You don't really need to worry about that because you usually can't. The background color, which is the color of this background here. So right now it's white. If you want to change it to something else, you click on that, and this window should show up. Click on the one that you want. Let's do black. And the background transparency, which is how see-through this is. So if you wanted the person to be able to see through that GUI a little bit, you do 0.5. See, now you can see through it a bit. If you don't want them to see it at all, you do 1. So it's going to be at 0 for now. Actually, I'm going to do 0.5. There's the border color. There's a little border around the outside of it. You may not be able to see. Right now, I'll change it. You can change it. I'll change it. Let's do red. It looks cool. Oops. Alright, press OK. Alright, so you can see a little bit of red right there. If you want it to be thicker, you use the border size pixel. So I'll set it to 5. So now it's a lot thicker and you can see it more. See the name, you all know about that. The position, which is how it is positioned, on your screen. X is like sideways, 0.5, half the screen. Y is up and down, 0.5, half the screen again. And there's rotation, which is, how it's rotated, like that. See, it's turned a little bit. And selectable, I guess the player can select it. I'm not really sure what that is. I don't really notice the difference when I use it. And the size, which is the size of the thing, of the square, I guess you could say. Now, sound for GUI is a bit different than sound is for, like, parts. As you can see here, there are 4 different numbers instead of just 3. And it's still only X and Y coordinates, but in each coordinate there is a property called scale and offset. So set them both to 0, 0. Okay, so if you use scale, then it will. How can I explain this? It's difficult. So if you use scale, it'll do that amount of this screen for everybody. Like 0.2. That means if you use 0.2 in just scale, then it'll be 0.2 something. I don't know what it's measured in. It'll be 0.2 of the monitor for everybody. So it'll look a bit different for everybody because everybody most likely has different screen sizes, but it'll be that much of this screen for everybody. if you just type in 1, it'll be the entire screen. Same thing with the y-axis. And it's also the same thing with position. Position and scale work in the position and size work in the same way. So let's put that at 0. Let's put that at 0.5, which is half the screen. Let's do 0.3 actually. And we'll do 0. Okay, so we got the size. Let's move it a bit. And also with position, it's not basing its position from the exact middle of it. It's basing its position on this top left corner of the box. So that's why if you do 0.5, the box won't technically be halfway in the screen. This top left corner is at the middle of the screen, but the whole box is not. So I have to edit it, move it around a little bit to get it the way you want. So I'm gonna do 0.38, and then we'll do. So I'll just explain what offset is. It's self-explanatory. It's offsetting it, sort of. So if you do 5, it'll move it a little bit. But if you do, I recommend not using offset, because if you do that, then it'll like mess up the way it looks for pretty much everyone. Basically, if you use offset, the GUI will only look correct for your screen size since you made it on that screen. So I recommend only using scale, because if you don't, the GUI could look very much distorted for different people depending on their screen size. So I recommend just using scale, otherwise it could mess up your whole thing. So that's the basics of a frame. There's also some other things that are a bit more advanced. There's size constraint. I'm actually not quite sure what that is, so I'll go over that some other time. This style, so right now it's at custom, which means you can more properties will actually edit this thing. So since it's at custom, all these properties will take effect. But if you do Roblox round, you can always do only a few properties will take effect. So right now, like Roblox round, it rounds the corners, but you can't. Sadly, you can't adjust the color of it. See, I just set it to yellow and it's still at black. You sadly can't adjust that. I don't know why Roblox chose to do that. I think it's pretty stupid, but they chose to do that for whatever reason. You can't edit the transparency at all. It's just defaults back to 0. You can still do the size and position and stuff, but that's about it. Oh, you can do visible too. So visible, as you probably just saw, if it's checked, that means you can see it. If it's not checked, then you won't be able to see it. It's pretty similar to transparency, except it's just, kind of like an off and on thing, just invisible or visible. It's usually better to use this rather than transparency for making things appear, or not. But whatever you want to do. I just recommend using visible if you're making things like turn off and on. Like, let's say this thing is invisible here, and you had a button here, and you clicked it. Then you would, if you wanted that button to make this thing visible, you just click on that. So now let's go on to Zindex. So what that does is basically layers. So let's put this back to custom for a minute. Okay, wait, actually we're going to do 0 for that one. Then we're going to copy this, and then we're going to paste it. We're going to make that one yellow. So let's move this over a bit. 0.5. So right now, Roblox is just choosing this randomly. So the yellow one is overlapping the black frame. So Roblox is just choosing this randomly because their Zindex is the same. As I said before, Zindex is just layers. So The lowest layer is 1, and it goes all the way up to 10, I believe. So let's say you wanted this black frame to be on top of the yellow frame. So what you would do is all you have to do is make the Zindex higher than the Zindex for the yellow frame. So let's do 2. So now as you can see, this thing went on top of it. So the yellow one right here is still at Zindex 1, but if you went the same one, they'd be like the same thing again. If you went higher, they would still overlap it again. So you can do that however you want. Eclipse Descendants, I do not know what that is. You could look up in the wiki if you really want to figure out what that does. Draggable, and make it so the player, the user who has the GUI, can drag it around with their mouse. They hold down the left mouse button, and they drag it around to wherever they want it to go. So we got that. Get rid of that yellow frame. We don't need that. And also every object for GUIs, like text labels and stuff, they have Zindex too, so it's not just for frames. Let's to 0.5. So now let's go on to text labels. So text labels, it's just a text inside of a box, pretty much. Pretty self-explanatory. So has this, like, I believe it has all of the same properties that the frame has, except for it has all the properties that the frame has, except has a few extra ones under. Oops, has a few extra ones under text right here. There is the font size, the text color, text scale. I'll go over these things in a minute. So first, what we're gonna do, we want to size this. We want to size this. I'm gonna go over a little bit more of sound right now, actually, of size. So technically, what the size is, it's a fraction of its parent, pretty much. So right now it's 0, 0. 0, 0 is the same for everything, no matter what its parent is. But so right now it's basically nothing. But remember how before I said that 1 would be your entire screen? Well, actually, if you parent this to another GUI object, it'll be all of its parent size. So let's do 1. So as you can see, it didn't do the entire screen. All it did was this whole box right here. So that's what it'll do. It's 1 of just this right here. So we're gonna do that. It's the same thing for the y-axis too. Let's do 0.2. That's good. So let's see. Okay, so I don't want this thing that dim. Let's see if we can make it a bit. Oh, okay. So since this index is at 2, it's overlapping this text label, which is why it looks so dim right now. So I'm going to set it to 3, so it'll go on top of it. So now it's a bit brighter. So now let's change it to red like that. No, actually, I'm going to do that. Be transparent. So now let's go into some of the text properties. There's the font, which is the type of text it is. There's only a couple options, so you can't get that customizable with the Roblox. So I like to do Arial Bold. That's my favorite one. If you do something big, do Legacy. It'll do quite a bit bigger. So actually, we're gonna use Legacy for now. So there's font size, which is the size of the font. It goes all the way up to 96. It used to only go to like 42, I think. But a new update made it so it can go bigger. So it goes really big right there. So we're just gonna go to 24. No, let's go to 32. So it's gonna be like a title. The text color, the color of the text, obviously. I'm gonna do white. So that stands out. So now let's go to text scaled. There it is. So text scaled. This is usually an option you're gonna want to do most of the time, so that your GUI will look best for everybody's screen. So text scaled, what it'll do is that it'll, like, you see how I just see the font size of the font. This will text scaled will Roblox will adjust the size of the text for everybody. So that way, so like if someone has a smaller screen, their text wouldn't look quite the same as wouldn't look quite the same as it does now if the screen was smaller than this screen. So if I did text scaled, what it does, it makes it makes the text be big enough that it'll fill up all of the text label that's inside of. So that way, if the text label is resized or something, or is adjusted a bit because their screen's a bit smaller, then the text will decrease in size too. So let's say we wanted the size on the x-axis for this text label to be 0.5. Let's do 0.3 actually. See, as you can see, as it gets smaller and smaller, the text gets smaller as well. See? It's getting a bit smaller. 0.1 got even smaller. Put that back there. So if you do text scale, it'll adjust itself for everybody's screen size. That's pretty helpful. It can be used to make your thing a little bit more professional. Let's get rid of that right now. Let's go on to text stroke color. So it's basically the same thing as border for like the frame stuff, except it's like a border around the letters. So right now, if by default it's set to 1, which means you can't see it. So if I set it to 0, you'd be able to see it around there. It's kind of small, not to be able to see it. So let's set this. Oops. Set the background color for this thingy to white, and we'll set it to 0. As you can see a little black line around those on the letters. Sadly, you can't adjust the size of that color, so you just have to deal with how it is now. Text transparency, how invisible the text is. See, like that. Pretty easy. Text wrapped, that is like making sure if you check this box, then it will make sure the text won't go outside of the box. So let's type in something like really long here. Like let's do like blah 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 blah. Start writing stuff. Oops. See, as you can see, the text went way outside of the box because it was too big for it. If you do text wrapped, it will make sure it'll stay inside of it. See, it'll do that. But because the text is so big, then because the text is so big, it's not all fitting in there because it'll go into different lines. So if you want all to fit in there, do text scaled, and when you do text scaled, it automatically does text wrapped. So that it'll all fit in there. So if you do text, if you click on text scaled, it'll make it fit in there. That's just like super small. There's a limit on how small it can go, but I doubt you will most likely ever reach it. Text. Let's do something else over here. Let's make this thing shop. I guess we're not gonna go into scripting scripting it today. We'll do that some other time. We're just gonna do that for a title. So the text X alignment right now is at the center, which means on the X-axis, which is left to right, it'll be in the middle of the box. If you want it to go on the left side, you click on that and it'll go over there. Click on the right side. Oops. Right side will go to the right. Those are the only three you can do that on. There's not any more options to how you can move it. If you really wanted it in between those, you could just move the position of the whole text label itself. It works. Text Y alignment is the same thing as the X alignment, except it's up and down, so side to side. So the bottom, there's really no difference right now because the text label is so small. But if it's big enough, you'll see a difference. The draggable thing in clips to sentence, same thing as it would be with the frame. So that's how you use text labels. Now let's move on to text buttons. Actually, we'll keep that in there. So a text button is a button with text on it. So we'll do that. Let's do the Zindex at 3. Just move it down a bit. Let's resize it first, actually. Let's make it like a square. 0.20. That's pretty good. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. Alright, we're gonna make it like orange, I guess, to make it look cool. Okay. So let's adjust it a bit. Let's do like 0.2, and we'll do 0.2, 0.25, and we'll move it over a bit actually, 0.15. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, let's see. Okay, so they have all of the like exact same things as a text label. It has text wrap, text alignment, and stuff. Also, have all these text options too because it's a button, but you can put text on it. Those are all the same text options as the text label would have. So you type in your text, and then do that, and then once you get to the scripting of the GUI, then you'd be able to make things happen when you click on it. And the next tutorial will actually show you guys how to script GUIs to actually do something with this. Okay? So that's pretty much it for the text box. It's the same. It's like the exact same thing as text label, except you can click on this with the user can click on it. So let's go into that. Now a text box, it is It is kind of like the text button and the text label combined. So what you can do with it is that with it, the user can type things in it. So let's say in the game you need the player to enter their name or something like that. So what you could do with it, you could like maybe you have like a password kind of system in your game, and you wanted the person to have to type in their thing every time. So what you could do like a text box or something like that. It wouldn't be the most secure thing because it can't show those dots. It can't show like those dots that we usually see on like other things, so it's not really that secure. But it's a start. So if you wanted to type something in there, the player all have to do is click on it and then type in what they want. There are a couple different properties I'll go over with you guys in a minute. Let's go like 0.8 right there. 0.15. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. Alright, so there's a text box. So up here has the same properties as a frame text label have, except for these two ones right here. There's clear text on focus and multi-line. So multi-line means that the text can go onto different lines. It won't be just one straight line of text. It can go onto different lines, I guess you could say. So clear text on focus, by default, if you click on a text box, the text that is inside the box already will be cleared. If you don't want that to happen, and you uncheck that, and then that will not be cleared when you click on it. So down here has the same properties for text. This text will be changed as the player types in it too. So be aware of that, because that could mess things up sometimes depending on what your script is doing. So let's type in a message for the player to see, so that way they'll know what to do. Like, let's say type your name here. Okay, so we're gonna make it clear text on focus. So let's press play and we'll watch what it does. Okay, so as you can see, when you put your cursor over the button, it'll kind of change color there. So there's like a button, when you click it, it'll change color too. So down here in the text box, you click on it, as I said before, clear text on focus. It'll remove that text, and you can type in whatever you want into it. That's pretty cool. If you click on it again, it'll just it'll take it out and stuff. That's a little bit about that. Here's some simple things too. There are a few other things, and two more things I'm going to show you. Let's see. Okay, so image. Okay, so there are these things. So there's a text label and a text button. There are also image labels and image buttons. They perform this the exact same way as as text labels and text buttons do, except instead of showing text, they will show images. Alright, so let's put one right here. That's the default image right there, that Roblox thingy. Oops. So right there, we're not going to get too... Let's do that, so get out of the way. So, there's some few other things. The image color, that's the color of the image, obviously. Rect offset, rect size. I'm not sure what that is. The scale type, slide. Oops. Sorry about that. Got a message. Slice, stretch. I changed some things. Slice center. I've never seen these things before. I think there might have been something new that Roblox added. I'll I'll look into that later. So to get the image, it works the exact same as decals do. So if you wanted an image in there, if you go to decals, get a picture. Alright, we'll copy that texture. Oops. Like that. Alright, so scroll down, put it right there, paste, and see this image just showed up right there. And the the image button works the exact same way, except it can detect if you click the thing. So that's it for the introduction of GUIs. Those, I believe, are all of the instances that you can use for visual display of GUIs. I hope this helped you guys. Next tutorial, I will go over some how to script these things, how to detect like if a player clicked the button and stuff like that. So if you like this video and it was helpful, please hit thumbs up and the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.